Hi, everyone. My name is Emily Wolfert, and I'm a third-year biomedical engineering major at Cal Poly. I'm here to tell you a little bit about my summer. For the first time, Cal Poly partnered with Tenet Health through Sierra Vista Regional Medical Center to host the first biomedical clinical immersion program, also known as BICEP. This program is the definition of Cal Poly's motto, Learn by Doing. In the 6-week program, we rotated between a variety of hospital departments. The purpose was to observe the day-to-day lives of doctors, nurses, and medical staff. We found needs within the hospital and applied the engineering and design principles we have learned in our coursework to innovate medical devices to fix these problems. Here are some specifics of my group's experience. As we stepped foot in the hospital for the first time, we were thrown headfirst into the emergency room on 4th of July weekend. We shadowed each doctor-to-patient interaction, from trauma patients to babies with fevers to elderly who had fallen to psychiatric patients. For week 2 of BICEP, we followed courageous doctors and nurses in the med-surg department who spend countless hours dedicated to saving the lives of those most vulnerable in our community. We looked at improving ventilators, drug administration devices, and vital monitors. Moving on to week 3 in labor and delivery, I was nervous to observe a cesarean section because they say you never know what your innate reaction to surgery will be until you're there for the first time. I didn't want to be the student who fainted the first time they walked into an operating room. My groupmate Zoe, who I'd shared many clinical experiences with, huddled in the corner with her shoulder pressed against mine so we wouldn't interfere with the blue sterile field. We both wore our masks, but I could read how she was feeling. Her wide eyes portrayed the same fear and excitement that I felt in my stomach. We held our breaths as we saw a tiny foot emerge from the abdomen of the patient. I couldn't hold back my emotions, and tears flooded under my mask as I welcomed a human into the world. Shortly after the cesarean section, Zoe and I took a tour through the neonatal intensive care unit, otherwise known as the NICU. Many newborn babies were being cared for with ventilators, feeding tubes, blue lights to cure jaundice, and complex incubators. Dr. Van Scoy, our clinical mentor, informed us of the prevalence of neonatal abstinence syndrome, otherwise known as NAS. On top of the challenges of adapting to life outside of the womb, NAS babies are healing from drug withdrawal due to their pregnancy. We filled the pages of our notebooks with sketches of device ideas that could aid the painful symptoms the babies were enduring. In our last rotation, my group spent the most time in the operating room. Every day was something new to learn and observe, from amputations to craniotomies to carotid artery surgeries. My group was astonished by the art of suturing microscopic and vital arteries, so we innovated a prototype for an automatic vascular anastomosis device. The goal of this device was to reduce tedious suturing and save precious OR time. Many of our ideas turned into senior capstone projects for other BMed students. Other ideas were fed into the Cal Poly Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship that fosters the creation of student and clinician-led startup companies. Flash forward 9 months later, and on a more personal note, BICEP has developed me as a citizen in our SLO community in 3 different aspects. My first role is as an employee for a startup company. This summer, in tandem to BICEP, I was also interning as a surgical planning engineer for Kinematic, a local startup company. BICEP has strengthened my connections to local surgeons who I now make 3D orthopedic models for as my part-time job. Second, BICEP has inspired me as a student to take a pre-medical route. After Cal Poly, I dream about attending medical school to follow in the footsteps of my inspiring clinical mentors. Third, this program has developed me emotionally as a volunteer in the NICU at Sierra Vista. After the BICEP program, I couldn't say goodbye to the hospital, so now I cuddle neonates who are seeking comfort in the first moments of life. I have learned that beyond medical devices, human interaction is imperative for the development of babies, especially those enduring drug withdrawal. I continue to work with Dr. Van Scoy to engineer solutions for these babies. The relationship Cal Poly has created with Tenet Health has empowered students to bring fresh eyes to persistent problems and emerging challenges in the clinic for the pursuit of successful healthcare on the Central Coast. My classmates and I are overly grateful for the generosity, wisdom, and time our clinical mentors took out of their busy schedules. In a classroom setting, it can be difficult for students to find their purpose to apply their studies. Cal Poly and Sierra Vista have fostered a connection that allows biomedical engineering students to learn by doing in the real world. I truly believe the BICEP program is providing avenues for the next generation of engineers to find their unique purpose in our community, especially in the hospital. Thank you.